This is a stimulus update and daily news report. Got some major updates to share with you. A government shutdown is just days away, and there is one man responsible for making that happen or not happen. I'm going to give you the latest on Joe Manchin and how he may cause a government shutdown. We'll give you the latest interview of whether or not this will happen. Are we going to have a government shutdown? Also, I'll give you the latest on the $500 checks that you have to apply that's going out in 1 week, plus the $700 stimulus checks that are going out as well, and I'll give you some other important updates as well. Hope you're having a terrific Tuesday. If you appreciate the fact-based, fast-paced updates, hit the like button down below and subscribe to the channel if you like these daily updates of how I get straight to the point, give you the facts, show you the sources. More to come with that. But let's get into the big news here. Shutdown threat grows as lawmakers struggle to reach final deal. So it's that time of the year again where lawmakers and Congress are waiting just days before the Friday deadline for the government to shut down. If they don't come up with this bill, then a government shutdown is going to happen. And you would think that they would learn. Why don't they just take care of this, weeks before, rather than waiting the night before a big homework assignment is due or cramming before an exam? Just, get it done. Stop stressing out the people. But one person could be responsible for this shutdown happening. What's at stake in this weak congressional vote to keep the government open, including Manchin's push to make it easier to build fossil fuel projects? So Joe Manchin was promised a big promise that it would go into this big bill to keep the government open, basically guaranteeing Joe Manchin's fossil fuel bill to make it through. But it doesn't seem like it's happening. The Democrats are turning on Manchin. The Republicans are turning on Manchin. Seems like Joe Manchin is now all by himself. So Manchin didn't expect Republicans to join Bernie Sanders in opposition to energy permitting bill. So yeah, looks like the Democrats not happy with Joe Manchin. They just wanted his vote. They're not really into what he's pushing. And the Republicans feel kind of hurt that Joe Manchin turned on them. The Republicans were welcoming Joe Manchin into the Republican Party as a Democrat, and they loved him. Excuse me. And then all of a sudden, Joe Manchin just turned his back on the Republicans. So take a look at this video clip right here of what Joe Manchin has to say about that and if the government's going to shut down because of him.
So, Senator, to get your vote on the Inflation Reduction Act, some promises were made to you about reforming the permitting process for energy projects. It's caused a big fuss in Washington right now in the Democratic Party. What's going on? How's it going to end?
Well, let me just, Joe, let me go back and take you how all this got started. After BBB, after that was settled and nothing happened and we weren't going to, I couldn't get there. I tried, looked at it every way I couldn't get there. So then we move on. And by April, we had a horrific war. Putin has used energy as a weapon. We are not energy independent in our nation. We should be. If you're going to be the superpower of the world, you should be energy independent. And we also can be a leader in the world as investing into the cleaner technologies. And basically, as we said, walk and chew gum at the same time. So in April, I told Majority Leader Schumer, I said, we need to do something with energy, Chuck, because we're in serious problems here, and it's getting worse and worse. And our friends in Europe are going to pay the consequences, and it's going to be globally before we're done. And Putin should not be able to dictate the policies of energy, definitely in the United States of America. So I said, at that time, Chuck said, well, Joe, you're chairman of energy. Why don't you see what you can do? And I said, well, Chuck, I'm not sure that my caucus and anybody would like this because I think it has to be a balanced approach. Those that want basically decarbonizing, all of us should be working towards decarbonizing, but there's different variations of the definition. My definition of decarbonizing is using more fossil fuels from the United States of America, cleaner than anywhere in the world, and replacing the dirtiest fuels. And when our country went over and started saying, well, let's go over and talk to Venezuela, let's talk to Iran. Venezuela produces the absolute dirtiest fuel with no oversight for environment. And then you have Iran, the most prolific terrorist support in the world, and we're going to give them money and buy from them. Yeah. We wouldn't do for ourselves, and people were going crazy. And I said, enough's enough. So we started writing the bill in April, very quiet, because I didn't want people to get all worked up about it and then something maybe wouldn't happen. So that's why it was kept quiet. And then when it finally got up into June and July, and this thing started getting worse in Europe, then Chuck and I talked, and he said, I think we need to do something. And I said, well, we've got a balanced piece of legislation. Permitting was always in this. So you both understand. Permitting was always in it. Why should the United States of America be basically at 5 to 10 years or longer to get anything built, any type of whether it be pipelines, transmission lines, whether it be for fossil or whether it be for clean fuels and wind and solar? You've got to have the infrastructure, and it takes us too long. Most of the developed nations, especially our neighbors of Canada and even Australia, who we rely on quite a bit for a lot of these minerals, they're 1 to 3 years. Why is a developed nation understanding how they can process faster, get it to market faster, and meet the challenges? That's all we've tried to do, and that's what I've said. So that's what we're working on right now, and we've got a great opportunity, and this is something that I've been working 12 years with my Republican colleagues. 12 years is number one. Hey, Joe, we've got to be able to permitting reform to build things and get things done. It's absolutely horrible in America that we string things out for 5, 10, and even longer, sometimes 12 and 15 years before we get a permit to do anything. By then, you've missed the market. The price is 2 or 3 times higher. So everyone agreed, and my Republican colleagues and my friend Shelley Moore Capito from West Virginia, she's my Republican colleague, and we're very good friends. And they put a piece of legislation out, a messaging bill that 46 other Republican senators support. They co-sponsored it. So if there's 47 Republican senators that said we need to have permitting reform, and we have a majority of the Democrats right now, don't you think it would be pretty easy for us to move forward? That's what we're hoping for will happen this week.
Right, and Senator, you look at what Barack Obama used to say about energy. A guy who's not seen as a right-wing conservative, he always talked about using the all of the above approach. That as we're making our transition towards an economy run on clean energy, on green energy, that you have to look at everything, including fossil fuels, including nuclear, everything, all of the above approach. But at the start of this war, I spoke to people across Europe, spoke to people across the world, and kept saying, what do we need to do long term? What do we need to do? And they would all go back to the same thing. And I know this will surprise people. This may sound sort of boring and mundane to some people at home talking about permitting processes, but it's not. It's a national security issue. Didn't matter. I had top Democrats in the diplomatic corps saying, you have got to start fast tracking LNG facilities. You have got to start fast tracking permitting processes so we don't have to depend on what the Saudis decide they're going to do based on how we treat them diplomatically. We don't have to depend on how the Russians are going to react to something that we do in trying to defend freedom across the globe. It's the same conversation, bluntly, that I've had with people about nuclear energy for 25 years. For 25 years, they've been saying we've got to build more nuclear facilities. We can't build nuclear facilities because the permitting process is so bad. It's cost prohibitive. And that's the greenest technology there is out there right now. No carbon footprint, no nothing. And you're right, we're going to the dirtiest oil in the world, the dirtiest producers of oil in the world. We're going to the biggest dictators in the world. And instead of doing it here, and I just don't understand why that's smart for national security and why that's a good move long-term for our environment.
Well, Joe, this is a 10-year pass. If you want to reduce inflation, if you want to basically get lower gas prices at the pump, lower energy prices at your home, you better produce more product. You better put more product in the line. That's what we need to do. But we do it cleaner than better than most any place in the world, and we can even do it better and cleaner than what we're doing it today. We know we can, and this is what we're pushing for. But the bottom line is that you can't replace something just because you says, I don't like coal, I don't like gas, I don't like oil. Okay. The bottom line is we do it better. The rest of the world's using it more than ever before, and we need to help our allies. Don't you think that by doing it better and cleaner, it's helping the environment also? And if you put more product in the market, don't you think the prices will come down? Come down if you are independent and basically we are secured as a nation. You cannot remain the superpower of the world if you don't have energy independence. It doesn't work. If you're relying on the rest of the world to produce the energy for you that you won't do for yourself, and your allies are looking saying, how are you going to help me? You won't even help yourself. This is one time, Joe, this is a time in history. It's a moment of time that we have never been able to get. Democrats that truly voted for permitting reform are willing to do it now because there's something in it for everybody. They're willing to do it. And our Republicans have always wanted it. For the last 12 years, I've worked with them. And it's a bill that basically parallels what we're doing. Don't you think we can get 60 senators that will vote for this tomorrow or Wednesday and move this forward? And they talked about the Mountain Valley Pipeline because it's coming. Most of the fuel, the richest gas field right now is under West Virginia, Western Pennsylvania, Ohio. But the bottom line is there is not another project in the United States of America that can put this much energy in the market within 6 months. Out of 303 miles of that pipeline, Joe, 283 is complete. They only need 20 more miles to complete it. Then it's going to put 2 billion cubic feet a day in the market. That'll backfill all the shortages we have in America, should stabilize or bring down the prices at your home and utility bills. And it also give us enough energy to help with LNG to backfill in Europe. Why wouldn't we do that?
So what are your thoughts on that? Joe Manchin, gung-ho about his fossil fuel project. Is it worth shutting the government down over? Let me know your thoughts on that. So millions of Americans set to receive direct payment worth up to $700. Are you eligible? So this is going out in Illinois for tax rebates. So with all this extra stimulus money that was handed out to states, a lot of it is being transferred down to the residents. So deadline to fill out the form is October 17th if you live in Illinois and you want to get a $700 check. And then another one here, 1 week left to apply for direct payment worth up to $500. Are you eligible? This is going on in Ohio. So 1 week left for Ohio residents to apply for $500 direct payment. The payment is part of an energy assistance fund called the Home Energy Assistance Summer Crisis Program. So if you live in Ohio, you could get $500 to help with electric bills, and a few qualifications here. And you have to apply through the website, and you have until September 30th to apply for that. So just a few days left if you live in Ohio and want help with your electric bills up to $500. So that is all the news that I have for you today to hopefully cheer you up a bit. Here's my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
Hi guys, I want to tell you the one thing that you can do to yourself. Be kind, be smart, and also you have to be kind to your mom, your daddy, or your brother, or sister, or anything that you want. And also you have to be kind to yourself.
Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate all of your support. Made it through the day, Tuesday. Really big day. Still got swimming for Bella and silk aerial, or aerial silks. So, it was an awesome day today. Just love being with the fam, the kids, and all of that. Hopefully you have a great rest of your day. If you want to check out any of my other videos on my other channels, actually, if you want to check out my latest Wise Buys video, click right up here, reviewing a pickleball paddle. Take a look at that, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.